From the minute that they announced that there would be an episode 7, 8, 9, Star Wars fans were never going to be happy with the ending. Because by that point, the universe had existed for so long. I mean, there were the novels, there were cartoons, everybody had different opinions about Star Wars. There's just, when you expand upon the universe in that direction, and you add more to the story, you're never going to please everybody. But these are my thoughts. I'm Mac from MacTheMovieGuy.com, and this is my review of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, Episode 9, I should say. Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. I'm a blind film critic, and that just means I didn't visually see all the amazingness that J.J. Abrams threw into this film, but I'm gonna talk about the audio description instead. So if you don't know what that is, stay tuned and you'll learn something today. So Rise of Skywalker. This is me just capping off my massive rewatch of all of the Star Wars films before Obi-Wan dropped. I actually had to watch Rise of Skywalker the same day as Obi-Wan, and this time I am wearing my Mandalorian shirt, although it doesn't really apply to Rise of Skywalker. So I am wearing the same shirt, Mandalorian. Let's see what that is. It's not the Falcon and Winter Soldier this time around. Hopefully that works. And there we go. I think I'm back on camera now. And I used Falcon and the Winter Soldier the first time around and looked like a dumbass, but I made sure that this time, and I got confirmation, it is in fact The Mandalorian. So at least I have some sort of Star Wars thing to close it off, and also to be in the Obi-Wan review, because I couldn't finish it in time for Obi-Wan drop, so I watched this on the same day as Obi-Wan. Like I said, you're never going to please everybody. There are things about the finale that I like. There are things about the finale that I don't like. I think probably when you're talking about successfully closing out the series, it probably does it less than, least less successfully than the other two, Revenge of the Sith and Return of the Jedi. Both of those kind of capped off their trilogies a little bit better. It's true that Revenge of the Sith did it because the first two films were not great. Although recently I've become more annoyed with Hayden Christensen's acting, so it's kind of getting pulled down in terms of quality for me. But story-wise, I feel like it wrapped everything up pretty nicely. Obviously, Return of the Jedi does a great job of wrapping up the storylines, except for just like a couple of small issues that I pointed out in my review. And this film, it's got some more issues. I guess I'll briefly get into just a couple of them, because I don't want to beat a dead horse here. But first of all, it's funny that they did the same thing with Jar Jar, the same thing with Rose that they did with Jar Jar, where a character got some backlash, so they dramatically reduced the amount of screen time. Because they're headed off on the mission, and Finn turns to Rose and he's like, "You coming?" And she's like, "No, I gotta stay back, and I got some important things here to work on." Which basically means no, they don't like my character, so I don't get to go on the adventure this time. There's nothing wrong with Kelly Marie Tran in that role. It's just her role is not well written enough for her to be memorable. And she just got such a huge amount of screen time in the second movie that really she should have been introduced sort of the same way Lando was in episode Empire Strikes Back, where he had a good amount of screen time, and then it expanded in Return of the Jedi. Because that allowed for us to grow into his character a little bit more. And when Lando comes back for the final, for Rise of Skywalker, it sort of is a welcome return. We're like, oh, Lando, cool. Look at that. I didn't quite I didn't quite like the Luke stuff. Like he comes back, but he like, does that mean he teleports? Like what is he doing? What is Luke Skywalker like? I thought like the he just like teleports his way across the universe. I've always thought that was kind of dumb. He commits like Jedi suicide, but later on he's like, no, I'm here, I'm back. And it's like, but the other people were like clearly like ghosts, and it just doesn't really feel clear as to what exactly Luke is doing and what his powers are. But apparently, Jedi's can bring people back from the dead. Uh, that's that happens. It was less silly when Ray did it because he was still alive. But when I guess Ben, because at that point in the film, the audio description is calling him Ben. So I guess Ben revives Ray and then he just disappears. And I guess he gets to go to Jedi heaven now, where the rest of them, all those faces in the sky from Return of the Jedi. Who knows? It was silly. There's like a ton of new characters, which is really bizarre for the final chapter of the film. Like it just really wanted us to care all of a sudden. None of them really have huge parts, which is exactly what they should have done with Rose. I just found the amount of new characters to be sort of surprising in the final chapter, because you don't really get that in Return of the Jedi, and you didn't get it in Revenge of the Sith either. We didn't get like an onslaught of new characters. We get a more than I would have expected amounts of new characters in this final chapter. So that was something that I'm not sure quite worked. And I don't know, the Chewbacca fake out doesn't really work for me. The fact that they didn't have the balls to actually kill off Chewbacca. The emotional impact of actually losing Chewbacca right before the finale would have been a lot better than him standing around and kissing R2-D2's head at the end. You do know, like, he's a robot, so he can't feel you kissing him. I don't know if Chewie knows that or not. I guess it was a nice moment for Han's medal to be presented to Chewie, but I don't know that we needed that, it was very like Return of the King at the end. At the end of this film, felt very like the ending of Return of the King. But this film is, once again, it's saved by Rey and Poe. Poe Dameron is easily like, how this dude did not come in contact with the Force is just, the Force has not chosen correctly. Like the Force has chosen people who go to the dark side, and Poe would have made an excellent Jedi. Poe would be the most badass Jedi if somebody gave him the Force, because he's constantly going out there and he's ready to do everything and anything that needs to be done to save other people's lives. He's constantly putting himself in danger. He just narrowly survives every situation himself. He's not a coward at all. He's a great leader, super inspirational. If anything, he's the Luke Skywalker of this franchise. I know he probably gets compared a lot to Han Solo, but he's just so out there and awesome in the three movies that it kind of steals the show. I still love Rey, but maybe to a lesser extent. I don't know why she needed. I don't know why she and Kylo Ren / Ben Solo needed to kiss. That didn't. I'm gonna give a demerit to her for that. Yeah, it's not a perfect film. Like I said, there are gonna be people who are like, oh, well, these are my problems, and yeah, there are some. Plus, as I noted in one of my earlier reviews, because when you watch these films, one of the great things about Rey is that right away in The Force Awakens, she's not immediately like given lineage. And I think they ruined it by tying her to Palpatine. I think that ruins the thing. I don't know why they felt the need to do that, where they were like, you're my granddaughter. And it's like, oh my God, really? First of all, what the fuck are we bringing Palpatine back? And second of all, why is she his granddaughter? Like, can't we just have a Jedi like that is not related to somebody from the universe? We keep having these schools of Jedis that keep getting annihilated, like Voldemort walking through Hogwarts, just like destroying all these children repetitively. Like, it's just this thing that keeps happening. It keeps happening, and we're going to talk about that if you keep watching my reviews. I don't know what Star Wars has a problem with little children and why they keep killing all these child Jedis. But obviously, people who are not from Skywalker, who do not follow the lineage, have the ability to become Jedi. We've seen other Jedi, so why couldn't Rey have just been a random Jedi? It gives the idea that the Force can awaken in anyone, that the Force can be with anyone. I think it was asinine to put her as Palpatine's relative. It was like, okay, so apparently it's something you just inherit, which means I guess every Jedi is related to somebody else from the past. The Qui-Gon's probably got some, we're going to get some long lost relative of Qui-Gon probably in Obi-Wan, because no Jedi can apparently not be related to to somebody of the past. The first black Jedi I see now, I'm just going to be like, Mace Windu. It's got to be related. Wait for it. It's going to be Mace Windu's child that we didn't know about. It's just ridiculous. It's a bit much. So there should be people who don't just inherit the Force. But I did enjoy the film overall. I thought there were some excellent action set pieces here. I loved the cheesiness of like the galaxy like coming together. Like Poe and Lando went and got, and Poe was right. That was nice. That was great. There's some good stuff here. So I mean, I know I'm hating on the film a little bit, but I don't actually hate Rise of Skywalker. It's fine. It's better than Last Jedi. I think they course corrected. Like I said, like I hinted in my other reviews, I felt like Last Jedi connects 7 to 9. Like they had an idea of how to begin and end the new series, but they weren't really sure of how to get from point A to point B. So they created a middle film, and most of it is filler. So this film is less filler, more obvious story points that need to be hit, some emotional weight, some impact, and it ends up being pretty good overall, even though I just listed like 10 reasons why it shouldn't be good. Better, it's actually one of my more favorite Star Wars films. It's to the better half, I should say. As far as the audio description goes, like I said, we have several new characters that are introduced. So it has a lot to describe here. It does a good job of describing everything, I think. So, I mean, we get, some throwbacks, Vader's mask, and Palpatine looks like shit. So we gotta get like a good description of that. It's been a while for Palpatine, and and he looks terrible. So we definitely get that update. Usually it's funny because usually we don't get an update as to what a character looks like. We just get like, we're told it's so and so because they were in another film. But with Palpatine, it's like, no, he looks terrible. We need to let you know this. I like that Wicket was referenced, because I don't think they actually used Wicket's name. I mean, I just watched these films, and I'm thinking back to Return of the Jedi, and I'm not 100% sure that they ever actually used Wicket's name in the audio description. So I love that all of a sudden Wicket has his name again. That was cool. So yeah, like I said, the ending is very Return of the King. So if you've seen Return of the King, you'll totally get that reference. And that's those are my thoughts on Rise of Skywalker. I finally finished these Star Wars films. Remember, my highest grade went to Star Wars: A New Hope, and my lowest grade went to Star Wars: Attack of the Clones. Everything else is somewhere in between. And my grade for Rise of Skywalker is actually going to be a B plus. See, with all that hate that I threw, I just love Poe Dameron so damn much. He's so damn entertaining, and he has so much to do. He's great. He is a great character. I can't even fathom, knowing that he was originally intended to be killed off. I can't even fathom what these movies would be like without him. It just like it blows my mind. It would be like the shittiest Star Wars films because these films benefit so much from Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron. Um, I don't even know. That would have been just like the worst decision ever would have been to leave him dead. I'm glad that they rectified that. That they realized they were like, hey, wait a minute, sort of like how Scream 4 was like, turns out everybody really likes Kirby, so we're gonna like put her back in at the end, and now she's gonna be in Scream 6, whatever the hell that movie's gonna be named, since Scream 5 was just called Scream. Maybe Scream 6 will be called Screams. I have no idea. But Kirby's coming back, guys. Anyway, that's a completely different franchise for another day. Probably we'll review all the Scream movies before Screams comes out. But let me know what you think in the comments about Rise of Skywalker. And if you could see my sweet Mandalorian shirt, you can throw me some likes or props for that. And I hope I don't even know if you saw it. I just panned downwards, and I don't know if I'm showing you my pants or what. But yeah, so visit my website, macthemovieguy.com, for more movie reviews, and you can check out the audio description project for more films with audio description, because we're done with Star Wars films. I don't have to review any of these films again. I've done them all. Oh, now on to Obi-Wan, which as of right now, I've actually already seen, so I get to go straight into an Obi-Wan review. That'll be fun.